Marge, what are you doing? You can't just walk out in the middle of the street. I mean, that's what crosswalks are for, to keep you safe. You could get hit by a car. This is called jaywalking, and jaywalking is illegal in a lot of cities.
Shut up, kid. I'm over 70 years old and I can walk wherever the hell I want. What are they gonna do? Hit me? Come on, people, hit me, hit me. Granny needs a new pair of panties.
Sometimes, kid, you reach a point in life where you just don't give it to you. Marge, I can't wait to be 70. Hey, what's up? This is Ray with Get Real Ray, a place and space for life and business tips from this creative soul to hopefully inspire you on your journey. Oh, yeah. Or at the very least, provide you with some laughs. And so, let's get real. Oh, my goodness. I gotta tell you, I have spent the last couple of days doing lots of research online. Now, I did set on my phone a little timer for the YouTubes because I don't want to be on YouTube all day. I deleted all my other social media, okay? I'm trying to be a good girl. I can't be sitting around going, boo, my business, the sales are down. If the sales are down, I am not supposed to be spending hours looking at videos of food or cute pets, because those are really fun. And as wonderful as self-help books are, spending hours looking at reviews of self-help books or different philosophies on stoicism or interviews with different scientific experts and interviews with people who've written all these self-help books, well, all of these things are like great. They're better when my sales are up. Because then that information is just me kind of relaxing, having a little entertainment that nourishes the soul and hopefully the brain. But sales have been down, partly because I've been saying a lot of no's in my business. And if you haven't done the say no, I strongly recommend it. I do. It's a wonderful feeling. Even if you work for someone else, okay, if you're like, Ray, I do not have my own business. What are you talking about? It's okay, boo. You need to say no to somebody, right? If your boss comes over, he's like, oh yeah, I need you to stay extra 3 hours after work today. No, I won't be able to do that today. I have another commitment. If you can tell me what needs to be worked on, maybe I can reorganize what I have on my plate right now to go ahead and address that. Or if you can give me some more information about what the urgency is, then I can look at how I can help get that project done as soon as possible, right? And maybe you come in a little early the next day or something. I don't know, right? And if you don't work for anyone, you're like, Ray, look, I'm retired, or look, I'm home doing the shopping. This is what I do. I don't have this problem. I bet there's someone in your life that you say yes to more than you should. I think this is kind of, I kind of want to say I think this is just like a thing for most people in general. Yes, it's definitely a bigger problem for women. Yes, it's definitely a bigger problem for minority women. And yes, it's definitely a cultural problem as well. So many cultures, especially in like the Middle East and Asia, the kind of automatic reply is yes. Not yes and, it's an improv, just yes. And so I know I am not alone in this feeling of, man, I keep committing to things that, well, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So anyway, No matter where you are in your life stage, I encourage you to try using no more. Now, with that being said, don't come out here blaming stuff on me, talking about, sorry, Mom, I can't clean my room because I was watching this video and this lady whose name is Ray, she told me to say no more, so I'm going to practice with you. No! Like, that's not what I'm talking about. Don't use the no as an excuse to not do your job. Hey, Bob, could you get off that porn website? I'm sorry, but Ray said no, and so I'm going to keep watching porn. Like, don't do that. I am not here to make excuses for your bad behavior, but I do want to inspire you to have some healthier habits. And I hate the B word. I'm not a fan of the B word, boundaries. But I am a fan of just remembering to stay true to yourself. And that can be really hard, especially if you are mother or caregiver or somebody who does some sort of nurturing role or has to constantly make allowances for other people in your professional or personal life. After a while, the cup kind of overfloweth, and there's just so many places where we're saying yes more than we really ought to or need to. There's been numerous interviews with Oprah where she talks about her first time saying no when being asked to donate to some charity. And she was so worried that the person was going to just hang up and be like, I'm never going to talk to you again. How dare you? You're a horrible person. And they're just like, okay. I was like, all right, no big deal. And it was such a relief for her. And so if Oprah could do it, right? I almost said April, but if Oprah could do it, so can you. So with that being said, I realized that I was spending time researching on YouTube just different things to help me kind of stay on task. And I found a YouTube video where a YouTuber mentioned this book, and I am planning a separate video listing some of my favorite books that have helped my life and my business. So that'll be a separate video. But this YouTuber mentioned this book, and I was like, oh, I need to check that out. But I'm not gonna actually read this particular book. It looks like I can probably get it all, the nitty gritty, in a short amount of time. And so let's go ahead and look for it in an audiobook format. And I did find an audiobook format. I've been enjoying listening to the book. Is it a type of, nothing in this book is really necessitating my sitting down, turning the pages on my own. There are some books that are like that. They have one idea that they're sending you, and then there's just tons of examples supporting that idea. Right? Like you get it after the first chapter, but it's kind of fun to go through the other chapters and just to see how they're laying everything out. So I'm enjoying this book. The book is called The One Thing. You can look it up. I'm actually going to link in the description the review of that book itself. So the book is called The One Thing, and I've been enjoying listening to it. I said, okay, I have my long to-do list, but this book has given me the license to say, alrighty, long to-do list, you don't have to do everything on this list, because the most important thing is that you focus on one thing that's going to change everything. One thing that's going to allow your sales to skyrocket. It's going to allow you to feel calm in your business and not feel like you have to say yes to clients that you don't want or offering services that you don't want. And it's going to allow you to feel more in control of your life. Isn't that a crazy thought? Feeling not in control of your life, out of control per se. So what do we mean when we say, oh, my life is so out of control? There was Another thing I was listening to, I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, I just remember what it was. I like to listen to podcasts, you guys, when I am working on like website editing or crunching numbers. There's a lot of podcasts happening around me. It used to be like lots of positive affirmations, but after a while, I kind of got tired of some of the voices of the speakers. There's a lot of like AI voices out there now, and I'm just not into it. It's a bit of robotic sound. And so anyway, I'm on to the podcast. But there was a podcast where, I think it was a financial podcast, and it was the discussion of, are you the driver of your life or the passenger? They were talking about finances. Are you the driver or the passenger? And so I like to think of myself as the driver of my life. I have chosen to have my own businesses. I have chosen to have the instability that comes along with it, which means I'm responsible for my taxes. I'm responsible for figuring out healthcare. I'm responsible for my schedule. And if I don't like the schedule I'm working, I have to decide, do I want to focus on the peak times that families are looking for services, or do I want to just focus on the peak times where I feel I have the mental energy and just the desire to work? These are big decisions that I have to make, and I have to hold myself accountable. If I am sitting around eating cookies and watching Dirty Dancing for like the 100th time, that is an excellent movie. If you haven't seen it, people, I love it so much. Ooh. I am responsible if the sales are not coming in, or if the client doesn't get responded to right away, or if the website breaks while I was watching Dirty Dancing. I don't have tech support that's on top of it, that's their focused job. I do all the jobs. This is what happens when you are what's the new term? Solopreneur, right? If you are a one-woman show or a one-man show or just a one-human show, a one-entity show, if you are a one-person business, then you have to answer to you. You are the CEO. You are the little worker bee, the janitor. You're the creative team. You're the investor. You're the things. So yeah, I made my decision, and I do still stand by it. It can be stressful at times. Sometimes it gives me gray hairs and a few wrinkles. But overall, I believe that if there is a finish line, I'm definitely going to reach it. If we look at it in terms of not a final destination, but actually just being like this never-ending roller coaster, which is kind of life, right? You're like, woohoo, never-ending roller coaster. Ah! Well, in that case, I am on the ride. I'm glad I chose this ride, and I'm not like screaming, get me off of this crazy thing. Stop the roller coaster. I need to get off this crazy thing before That's not me right now, okay? So yeah, and I've been running my businesses I've had 2 registered businesses for 3 years, I guess now. But I've had multiple businesses for almost 2 decades, I think. Oh, wow, that's so crazy. That's crazy when I just think about it, how long. And even before I registered my first business, I was running businesses. It just wasn't legally registered businesses. But I was like, oh yeah, let me pay these actors. Let me write the scripts. Let me do these things. So I made these decisions, and it was really nice to just hear from this book that focusing on one thing will allow you to have this huge shift in your business. And to be fair, I think I've heard Tony Robbins say like the same thing, major change and what's your passion? I mean, everyone's saying the same thing, just saying it in different ways. Like, what's your passion? Focus on your passion and get it done. Jim Rohn has kind of said the same thing, you know, find something to focus on, and you got to put in the work, and you got to plant the seeds when it's winter or something, or fall, and then you'll reap the rewards in the spring and the summer, and all these things, right? You might be thinking, what does farming have to do with one thing? Well, if you're a farmer, you know what I'm talking about. The idea that you don't have to focus on everything, right? That farmer might be overwhelmed by what's going on with loans for tractors and what's going on with funding that's supposed to come from the government. But at the end of the day, he's known, I got to go out and plant some seeds, water the fields, and grow some grain. And I just got to keep on keeping on. I got to keep getting through here. And so while I've been enjoying this content, I have been working on my one thing. I found myself today going, oh my goodness, I know what I need to do. I should take this content I have for this other part of my business, and I should just put it in an app. So brilliant, brilliant. I know there were these websites where you can just easily make an app. I mean, I feel like they've been targeted at me for like ages. Okay, have I made an app before? Did I try this before? I wonder. I think I tried making an app more than once. I think it wound up being a problem. Let me think about this some more. And so, a little YouTube searching. YouTube is very helpful. Friends, before you try anything that you're not sure about, check it out on the YouTube, because there's probably someone who has suffered the suffers, who has felt the pain, and can tell you, don't do that. Maybe some of my videos, you'll find me going, don't do that. But yeah, I started to have really strong memories of previously attempting to design an app in one of those online platforms where it's like, oh, just click and drag and then everything's gonna easily upload, so easy. And I found a lot of videos where people were talking about how they made it to 90% of their app being finished, only to then find that nothing worked the way it was supposed to. The software was very limited. They would have to then pay to pull their code and then try to hire a developer to like fix everything, and the developer would be like, what is this garbage here? Because the platforms are so bad when it comes to these kind of no-code, build your own apps programs. So I found myself saying, well, I do like the idea of an app, but I also found myself going, am I just distracting myself from my one thing? Right? My one thing was to keep editing this content, uploading the content, giving the advice. This is for my other YouTube channel, you guys. So if you're like, where have you been, Ray? I have so much content for this channel that I have not edited. And I really need to. However, my income comes from the other business, yeah? So I was focused on my one thing. I was listening to the book, y'all. I was focused on my one thing. And as you can see, I distracted myself because I wanted to design an app. Now, the good thing is I did the research. I didn't just suddenly download some free app, no code, blah, blah, sign up here, and then spend 3 days in the weeds working on this app. I did not do that. But it did make me question once again, how can I better rein in my habit of acting on the creative idea? And I think that's part of my problem, is I consider myself a creative person. Here's the thing. In dance, if you hear the music moves you, you move with the music. Now, some people can only dance when they are told what to do. I personally do not feel this is really dancing. I feel this is simply following instructions. Yeah. And so when I teach dance to others, I always teach for students to try to find their own form of movement, their own ideas. Even if I think they look like ridiculous, that's not the point. Because at some moment when we are dancing, we lose self-judgment and we lose the desire to really try hard. You know when you see someone dance and you're like, are you okay? Are you having a seizure? Are you fighting a ghost? What's happening? But at some point, one stops to worry about what they're looking like, and they're just in the music, and the other person kind of goes, oh, okay, yeah, hey. And then we reach another level of having fun. Maybe that's enlightenment. Maybe enlightenment is not about how little you ate or how much you meditated or fasted or anything like that. Maybe enlightenment is just letting go while dancing. Letting go while listening to the sounds around you, which usually is music, because I love music. Maybe it's an audiobook. I don't know. That could be a sound around you. So yeah, I think as a creative, I'm so used to letting the idea come and then moving with it, right? I didn't plan which movements I was going to do for this video. I just did them. And as an actor, a lot of times, even though you know the words you need to say, you have to be willing to adjust to something unexpected, right? And so there are so many areas in my life where I just let the idea move me forward. Even cooking. Sometimes I don't have time for the recipe. I think it should have about this much water. I'm just moving with it. I don't know, just throw some water in there, stir it up. Oh, it's good. And yet, is it serving me in my business? I mean, I don't know. Here I am, still with lots of stuff to edit, lots of stuff to fix. I have been having all these crazy security attacks from bots and then hackers, right? And thankfully, none of the websites have been broken into or anything like that. But it was for a couple of weeks, I was so depressed because I was just spending hours blocking IPs, new malware, new security features, CAPTCHAs, you know, poor clients are trying to get into their accounts. And I don't know, do they just not know their passwords? Because they're getting locked out of their accounts like, Ray, I need a password reset. And I'm thinking, are you a bot or are you really my client? I don't know. I need some kind of proof. But yeah. Super frustrating because it took a lot of time, super stressful. I found myself going, and this is why companies pay for, you know, cybersecurity and IT departments and stuff like that. As much as we want to say AI can make everything automatic, sorry, but there is a reason why we have humans doing certain jobs, because I do not have all the hours in the day to keep these hacking attempts at bay. Thankfully, I did put in enough measures to kind of squash that, and so there's less intensity in that department. But one of my websites, I was just like, I'll kill the website because this is just too much. And I did. I just killed the website, deleted the entire thing, and it actually, I guess I deleted it almost a month ago. Oh, so crazy. But just this past 2 days, I've been rebuilding that website. And the rebuild is almost done. It'll probably take me another 3 days, just re-adding content. And actually, I just remember, it's the website where I promote this channel. So that is something that I'm getting back to. Hey, look at me. It's my first video in a while, and I've been working on the website because I'm thinking of you, my friend. Oh yeah. And so this isn't about me. This is about you. So what are we really talking about? Well, we're talking about the fact that you might get distracted the same way I get distracted. And even if you don't find yourself getting distracted the same way I get distracted, you might find yourself needing to really stay committed to your one thing and committed to integrating more no's in the right areas of your life. No's in the right areas. So if your kid comes up to you like, Papa, can I have dinner? You're like, no, go feed yourself. I'm working on my one thing. That's probably not a good idea. And it's funny because I have a lot of friends who are retired. It's not funny that they're retired. Just stay with me. Stay with me. I'm going to tell you what's funny. I have a lot of friends who are retired, and they will kind of say to me at times, Ray, you just reach a point where you don't give a shit. I'm like, what? Hello? Sorry, operator. Couldn't quite hear you. And it'll be about different things. Maybe we were talking about something about, gray hair or body weight or being nice to somebody on the phone. I don't even know. Parking spots. I'm like, what do we talk about? But yeah, and this is like not one person. This is not two people. This is several different women that I have met who have just turned, it's like a total switch. The spirit of don't care comes into the body, and then out comes the words. And I'm just like, oh. And I found that so interesting because we are raised, at least in the United States as women, we are raised to care. And well, actually, in the United States, in the current climate, I don't know what these parents are raising their kids to care about other than TikTok and video games. Like, honestly, I have no idea. Part of me just wants to be like, well, I give up. You deal with that. But back in the old days, we were raised to care about fellow mankind, to care about our society, to care about the earth. Right? We're raised to care. And yet, I just find it hilarious that there comes a point in life where one says, nope, I've spent years caring, and now I am totally allowed to not care anymore. I'm allowed to issue all the no's I want. I'm allowed to not care what you think of me. And I'm allowed to focus on my one thing and not feel guilty. Isn't that beautiful and empowering? And I am not at the retirement age. And yet I need to adopt more of that retirement philosophy in my life right now at the age that I am. And I wonder how I can pass some of those pearls of wisdom from those older women onto younger people that I mentor. I often tell the women that I mentor, I mostly wind up mentoring women, okay? But I tell them to stop apologizing for everything. Just don't. Unless you have physically injured somebody or insulted their dying relative, don't apologize. State whatever it is you need to say. You can, instead of saying, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm late, just say, I realize I'm late. I didn't mean to hold you up. I realize I'm late. Unfortunately, it was unavoidable today. There was an accident on the train, right? You didn't make the accident on the train happen, so why would you be apologizing it? The world has not collapsed. You are not that almighty and powerful. Chill. And Well, I want to be able to pass those pearls of wisdom on to others. But I guess I need to figure out how to embody it a bit more in my own life. And so I'm not going to design an app right now. I have mixed feelings. I keep having these flashbacks of the horror that was the last 2 times I tried to design an app. And I think there is some way to package the content in a more visible way for families. I just have to figure out how that is without devaluing my brand and my business. But in the meantime, I'm going to let that simmer on the back burner because I'm going to keep focusing on my one thing. And for that, I'm going to keep doing the edits, keep posting, and remember what the goal is there. And you know what else I'm going to do? And maybe you could try this too. I make so many lists, so many plans, and then a lot of times I don't remember to go back to them after 2 weeks of using them. But I've really had a great success with physical paper checklist. I design a checklist in Canva, I print it, and then I can just take a pen and check things off throughout the week. So what I think I'm going to do is, instead of just making a long list, planning things out, and then not looking at it again, I'm going to make a little checklist, and my one thing, continue to devote at least 1 hour a day to my one thing, and add it to this checklist, to my other checklist that I have. So that way I get the dopamine hit of physically checking off I did my one thing. I have made huge progress by having little accountability systems in my life. So Duolingo. I have a love-hate relationship with Duolingo because sometimes, like right now, I'm at a point in French where it is hard. And I just want to be like, I think I know enough French to just survive. I don't need to know anymore. But I have a 540-day streak in Duolingo, and I cannot give up now. And so I will probably be on Duolingo until I'm ready to retire, and maybe beyond, unless they create some little chip to implant in my brain or something. But I'm not giving up my Duolingo strip. And so it's created accountability. I will say that other forms of accountability in various apps like Asana and these types of things, I am not into. I do it for a few weeks, a month, and then I just wind up getting sucked into other things. But my Duolingo, I keep on it. What I have really been enjoying though is the checklist I made in Canva. You can really make a checklist on anything, or get a notepad that has just write things down and then physically check it off. I've seen like a couple of people online saying they now keep a physical notebook and pen next to their computer, and they focus on making their notes there now instead of, in their phone, and it's helped them get more things done, which is pretty awesome. So by adding to my checklist or modifying my checklist a little bit, I think I can continue to work on my one thing without losing focus on other parts of my business, but just not assigning as much meaning to the other areas. So if XYZ doesn't get done, then just like Granny crossing the street, who cares? What are they gonna do? Hit me? All right, my friends. So I hope you found this a bit helpful. I encourage you to find one thing that you can focus on, whether it's a change in your personal life or professional life. What is something that you want to be different about your life? Stronger, better, less of, more of. It can just be, I really want to enjoy more me time. or I really want to spend more time playing video games. Okay, I'm not going to support that right now. I'm sorry, I'm just not. So how about I really want to spend more time taking walks in nature. I really want to spend more time reading. You don't want to live the rest of your life, however long that might be, right? You don't want to live the rest of your life going, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, wish I woulda. Man, I always wanted to, right? Take one of those things that you want to change, make it your one thing, and make it happen. Move it forward. Make sure you set up systems so that you hold yourself accountable, are not easily distracted like this girl, and also allow yourself to say, hey, I don't care what other people might think or say, and if it's a huge, okay, within reason, right? You don't want to be like, I don't care what other people say, I'm gonna keep stepping on babies. Like, that's just cruel and illegal and weird. So don't do that. But in pretty much everything else, if it's not physically hurting someone else, then yeah, be like that retiree. Just be like, I don't really care. This is my one thing, and this is what I'm going to focus on. And so with that, my friends, I wish you all the best. And until next time, peace.